Where's Robin? No, the Robin who fell. Is the Robin who fell just went out? She's right outside the door. I wanted you to know and see that she is fine. She is fine. She also said over lunch, thank you for all the cleaning, because she didn't even have a headache. She has a couple Band-Aids on her. And here she is walking in right now as I was talking about you. All is well?
All is well. Thank you.
You're welcome. How many are going to come to the meditation that I'm doing 9 a.m. tomorrow morning? Wow, I didn't know it. I guess I have to show up then. I was planning on sleeping in. Okay, well, as I understand it, the meditation is at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, where we had our breakfast lunch just now, so it's upstairs in that room. It will not be taped. It will not be filmed. It's just an intimate moment for us to sit in a circle, and I will guide you through an inspired meditation, which means I have no idea what I'm doing until tomorrow morning at 9. It'll be inspired. Now, there's something that I want you to really get here, because I've been hearing it come up in conversation, and I've been hearing it in other places, and I know Dr. Hولن has heard it in other places. It's the idea of who should be doing the cleaning. So if we're taking 100% responsibility for our lives, now please hear me. I know we've said this a bunch of times, but to really grasp this, you really have to listen to this. When you take 100% responsibility, and somebody walks up to you and says they're having a problem with something, what do most people that are even in this seminar say? No, they say, you should clean on that. You should clean on that. In reality, based on what we've learned here, who should clean on that? Yeah. In many ways, when they come up and say they have a problem, you almost have nothing to say. Because what your job is to do at that point is to clean on that. You don't say, you should clean on that. You take it in and realize that there's data playing, because it's playing in your face. Some of that data is playing within you. And so you are to clean on that. As you clean on that, that other person will feel relief. This is actually the essence of my Miracles coaching program. And there's some papers that have been passed around that will tell you some of that. And I will have Anya a little later tell you before one of the breaks, explain what that's all about. But I really want you to get this idea, this truth, that 100% responsibility means 100% responsibility. When I was recording my brand new Nightingale Conant program called The Missing Secret, that's coming out this week, I think, when I was recording it, there was a woman that was one of the engineers on the inside of the studio, and she said, you know, 100% responsibility and zero limits, and as I was describing it, actually means 150% responsibility. She says, because I'm taking responsibility for everything that I'm doing and saying and thinking and feeling and believing, but I'm also taking responsibility for everything you're doing, saying, believing, and feeling. And there's some truth to that. You know, that's her way of explaining it. But the point is, 100% responsibility, truly 100% responsibility means there's nothing out there. You experience all of it inside you. So if anybody comes to you with a problem, you clean on it. Now let me extend the clarification of this. I was very curious that he works, or did work, as a therapist. And I thought, if he's just cleaning, what does he say to people? So in other words, if you called him up, if you booked a time with him, and you're going to have an hour with him, and you sit in front of him, and if really he's following this 100% responsibility, he should have nothing to say. So I was very curious. I said, what are you saying to people? And he says, I just ask them questions. Well, what kind of questions? He says, I just want to know their data. I want to know their history. I want to know their name. Like you said earlier, I want to know their address. I want to know what their story is. And all he is doing as he listens to that is using it as an anchor to keep a conversation going so that people feel good about paying him. There's actually a conversation happening. But what he's doing on his internal level is cleaning. Very often when somebody's coming up to me and they say that they have something going on, yes, I can tell them, go read Zero Limits, go rent the movie, go do this, go do that, you know. But what I end up doing as I listen to them is cleaning in me. As I'm cleaning, more often than not, that I notice, they seem to be relieved. Why? Because the shared data that came up was being erased. Now let me tell you how this even gets more extended. Somebody I had lunch with, and I forget where she went, had this idea for a children's book. Where is she? She's from, there she is right there. She had an idea. I'm not going to tell the idea because I don't know what the whole thing is, so I'm not giving away anything. She had an idea for a children's book, and she said, it's just kind of bubbling up. And I'm thinking, that's inspiration. And I pointed it out. That sounds like inspiration. Follow through on that. And she said, I want to write this children's book so all of these people, everybody can learn about this. And I just felt this inspiration come through to say, no. You write the children's book for you. You write the children's book, actually, in this case, addressed to your inner child. As you write that book for your inner child, and you bring peace to your inner child through this book, you will then open up an avenue where some publisher has got to pick it up, and everybody will probably want it. That's when he was referring to, Dr. Hولن was referring to how you make money doing this. You're not focusing on making money. You're focusing on cleaning, 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 so that as you clean, inspiration comes. You're doing it for you. She got it. I saw there was chills going up and down your spine, right? You said that. Light went off over her head. She really understood that you write it for yourself. As you write it for yourself, something will open up, and others will say, I want that too. But you don't do it for that. You do it to take 100% responsibility for everything. No exceptions. He has openly told me how hard that is to do. He's been doing this for 25 years. And very often, there's this built-in data impulse that wants to blame somebody else, even in him. So it's still got a surface, and you still just keep cleaning. But I wanted to remind you that when somebody says they have something going on, whatever it happens to be, that something is going on in you. Where you cleanse is in you. Anya, do you feel like talking about the way this works right now?
I do actually, and I'd actually like to have Lee speak to it.
Okay.
She's my senior coach, and she's the one.
I understand. Bruce, would you mind handing the...
I need to make one more announcement.
Yep.
E. Haleakala has requested that all its cell phones be turned off, please. Thank you.
Well, now I'm torn. I don't know whether to turn off my cell phone or speak.
Speak, I'll handle your phone.
Thank you. You want me to do it from here or go up there?
You can come up here. Come
Okay.
on up here.
Okay, great.
Lee is one of the coaches in my Miracles coaching program, and she can explain a little bit about this.
Okay. So, hi. Hi. It's great to see all you guys from this side. When you came in this morning, you saw there's a couple sheets of paper, and I question whether my just telling you about the program is as valuable as asking you if you have any questions. I can tell you a little bit about it, how it plays out, what are the different aspects of it. Mostly it's really just supporting you to have miracles in your life and to create the future from nothing. And pretty much everything we've talked about today is about erasing the past and clearing memories and creating the future. And that's really what we work on when we talk with you. So if how many of you have read through the documents on the table, spent any time with it? Okay. Well, we have a couple different programs. We have Miracles one-on-one coaching, and that's exactly what it is. It's us speaking to you over the phone, one-on-one. It continues for a 3-month period or a 6-month period, depending on what you like doing, whatever works for you. Most people, if they sign up for 3 months, it continues for 6 months because they love it. It makes a difference for them. So we usually have people that sign up for the 3 months go into the 6-month program. We speak to you every week, for 3 weeks in a row, and you have 1 week off. And really, everything I'm telling you right now is they're features of the program. They're really not what you get out of it. What you get out of it is really being present, creating your future from your passion, from what really makes a difference for you. A lot of people come to the program looking for what's next in their life, like they've had a great life, but now what? And the opportunity to work with a coach is really what makes the biggest difference for them. I don't know how many of you have ever participated in sports or had a coach in your other areas of your life. But the opportunity of working with a coach is that we are kind of on the sidelines while you're out on the playing field of life. And when you get stuck, sometimes you're in it and you can't see what's going on in your life. When you come back to the stands, we can say, this is what I observed. We can ask the appropriate questions that you can then see, oh, yeah, I could have done this, or I could have seen something differently. And then you get to go out and play on the field of life again. And so we give you that kind of feedback. The second program, which is group coaching, is an opportunity to be in a program with several other people, anywhere from 10 to 30 people. And it's the same kind of program. You have the same information. It occurs over 3 months. And you have the opportunity to be in a community group online as well. So you get support from the other people in the group. You don't have one-on-one coaching, but it's still the same content. So it really depends on where you are and what you want to get out of the coaching. Then the third program we have is Zero Limits, and that's a 3-month program, and it occurs in the same kind of format. It's a group format only, and we look at Ho'oponopono, and Robin would be a great person to talk to about that, because that's actually one of the programs that she leads. So I'd like to just take a few minutes if you have any questions. If you're sitting there thinking, gosh, this is something I might like to do, but I'm not sure if it's appropriate for me, I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have.
You know, before we do that,
Yeah.
great to hear. We have a couple clients in the room. They'd be willing to speak about their experience. That would be great.
Absolutely. Steve, you interested? This is Steve Little. He's been a client of ours for quite some time, a year. He's my personal client. And it's just been a joy to work with him. And I'd like for him to tell you a little bit about what he's gotten out of the program.
Oh, I got to talk about what I got out of it. No, well, let me just say that it's an extraordinary program and they're extraordinary people. And you will get extraordinary results. That's really all I can say. I think Lee's analogy is a great one. If you think about athletes, you know, every athlete can work out, but to be a champion athlete, you need a coach. So to be a champion in your life, you need a coach. And the things that this group has done with me and for me, I might say, are pretty extraordinary. You didn't know me a year ago, so you don't have any idea who I was. But I wasn't who I am. Okay. And it's just a fabulous experience, and I'd recommend everybody just do it. Don't ask yourself, just do it. We're now beyond the end of the program. I was telling Joe this morning, and I'm not stopping, so we're carving new territory together, but I'm not going to stop, so you should start.
A lot. Yes. Do you have a question? Yeah. Okay.
You're talking life coach, right?
Beg your pardon?
You just talking life coach. Oh, I don't need it. I don't need it. You're talking life coach. We've been told we get back to ourselves, get into ourselves,
Yes.
start from there. If I come to you for coaching, or even if anyone else comes to you for coaching from this group,
Yes.
they're still stuck. What I'm asking you is if they're still stuck, then am I still stuck? And are you still stuck?
It's a great question. That's a great question.
And I feel in myself, I don't want to come to you. I'm not stuck. However, if someone else comes to you and they're stuck, are you stuck? And I'm stuck.
Right. I got it. No, that is a great point. I can tell you that when I'm in a conversation with somebody and I'm coaching somebody, I'm cleaning on myself. I'm very clear that that's the source, right? So before we get on any calls with anybody, we spend 10 minutes cleaning ourselves. And in the conversations that we have with people, I think it's really important that we don't give advice and we don't tell anybody how to fix themselves. Really what we do is we are a sounding board. We can hear what they're saying. We can continue to clean on ourselves as they're saying whatever they're saying.
That's good. So that's between you and them. That will have absolutely nothing to do with me.
Well, not according to Dr. Hewlin.
or not according to me. What I just said a little bit ago is that it's everything is in you. So whatever you're picking up right now that's in everybody else, it's actually in you. And 100% responsibility means sit there and do the cleaning. So, but you raised the question, I understand, on a conscious level, so let me ask you something. I'm going to ask the whole group. If we do another Zero Limits event, how many of you would come to it? Yeah. Why? Why? Because didn't you already get what the message was? If there's a verbal message, if there's one I could write down on the board, one I already put into a book, why would you come again? Yeah, there's a lot of it. You're going to come up with all kind of reasons. It's the same reason you would want to coach. The same reason. I use coaches. I have a half a dozen different people that I will call on. I know that if there's any moment, and I do my best, I keep cleaning. I've told you how I'm doing it as much as I can, 24 hours a day. I keep taking action. I keep following my inspiration. But I have bumps in the road. And whenever I hit a bump and I don't know how to get over that bump with my own bag of tricks, I call a coach. I have found them to be incredibly valuable. And in fact, I created the Miracles coaching team in particular because of Zero Limits and people's questions like this. That they have questions about how do I apply this into my life, or they just want somebody who is rooting them on. If you saw my blog post just from a few days ago, I put a picture of my rear because I've gone 15 feet up a rope. And my trainer was at the bottom shooting the picture of me going up. Now, as an overweight kid growing up, I was never able to go up the rope, and my drill instructor, gym teacher, would make fun of me and everybody else, so there was humiliation there. I had a whole lot of cleaning. There was a deep wound. And when I did start getting fit and I did build my own gym, I also put in a 15-foot tower with a long rope. And I've been trying to go up that rope for the longest time. One of the reasons I finally went up that rope, and I can go up it repeatedly now, is that I had a coach who believed I can do it more than I could believe I can do it. That's what kept me going. And in fact, in that case, occasionally he'd come over and he would go up the rope, which would give me a model of possibility. So there's all kind of reasons, but I think the most relevant thing is all of you are really in a wonderful place. You are really in a wonderful place right now, but when I asked you, would you attend another Zero Limits workshop, you don't really need to. Almost everybody said yes. That's why you would want to coach.
And I think what Joe said about not needing it is absolutely, one of the strongest things I would say is that nobody needs it. There isn't a person in the room that needs it. I just know the difference that it's made for me in my life and the difference that it's made for my clients. I can give you a couple examples if that's helpful. I have one client that came to the program because he was very fearful all the time. He lived in India. He lives in India. And he was making a very good living on the internet, more than most people in his community. I think he was making $3,000 or $4,000 a month, which is a good living in India. But he was afraid to tell anybody that he was doing well because he was afraid they would curse him. Because he'd heard that, as a matter of fact, in his past, somebody had told somebody and they put a curse on him, and then his business started going downhill. So we worked on it for a while, and then he said, well, the other thing is that I'm working 15 to 20 hours a day to maintain my business. And after about 2 or 3 sessions with me, he came to the call, and I said, now, how is it going? How are you? How is your fear level? And he said, it's down to 5%. He said, I'm not afraid. I said, well, are you sharing this with your family? He said, no, as a matter of fact, he had bought a car and told his parents that someone gave it to him because he was afraid if he told them that he bought it, they would, curse him. So I said, so his instructions were, his assignment was to go tell his family about his business and how well he was doing, and he did. And he said it was just amazing how supportive everybody was. So over time, I worked with him for 6 months. He developed a revenue of $15,000 a month. He cut back his hours to 5 hours a day, 4 days a week. And he said that his fear level was completely gone. So is it something I did? No, it's something he did. It's something that he could then begin to free up in his own life. And it just made a huge difference for him. But I was a stand for him. That's my job as a coach. It's very much what Joe says. It's like when you can't believe in yourself, your coach believes in you. And your coach is a stand for you getting what you want in your life. So that's the one thing I would recommend that you look at. Is there something that you want to create in your life, something that maybe you've been stopped in, something that past conversations have been stuck, and that you're using your clearing techniques that you're getting here to get rid of them. But they do come back from time to time. Those fears, those memories, those things that keep us stuck. And one of the things we do is we use clearing techniques like Ho'oponopono and other techniques that help us be present. And once you're present, then you can be open and receive inspiration. But when you're stuck in the past and worrying about, well, this didn't work last time, how's it going to work this time? It's very difficult to create the future. So other than that, that's really all I can tell you. I love my job. It's a real opportunity to be with everybody and to support them in the dreams that they have. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Anything? Anya, anything you want to say? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What kind of questions do you have? About anything that's going on so far. She's right here.
So I know it's our responsibility to clean on ourselves. And since we've come into your world and Dr. Houlen's world, my question is, how do you know, after you leave here, how long you need to clean on the issues that we've brought up into your life? And I'm asking, how long will you clean for me and all my junk?
Did you raise your hand because you second the motion, or you want to answer it?
Answer.
Go for it.
You don't clean on the issues. When something comes up, it's only in you. You just clean on yourself. And so you just clean as long as you can stand it.
And I will extend that, meaning that if you brought up an issue with me in the stairway at some point, and I start cleaning on it and so forth, I have no idea if it's actually removed. I don't know if that data is gone. But one way that I do know that it may not surface again is if I go on with my life and nobody ever brings it up again. If I go to the next stairwell and Anya brings it up to me, oh, that wasn't gone when I was cleaning it, I got to keep cleaning. And I clean for a while and it's gone for a week and a half, and then somebody else I run into brings up the same thing, that's my evidence it's not clean. So I just really, across the board, just keep cleaning. Great question. Another question? Are you all at peace? Are you all enlightened? Are you all at the whiteboard? Dr. Houlen, do you have anything to say?
Unless they would like some comment.
Would you like some comment from him about something?
Yeah.
There's a question right there.
Yeah.
You said something earlier about a migraine being a curse, and I don't have one today, but I get them occasionally. I used to get them often. I don't get them as much anymore, and I do cleaning on it. So what do you mean by it's a curse?
You'll have to slow down. This is Sunday afternoon.
Oh, I had more coffee than usual today.
So tell me one more time, and can you do it in just 5 words?
Okay. You said the migraine was a curse.
Yes, that's 6 words.
Can you explain that?
So what happens is that most of the time we don't know it. When we come into this lifetime, we have come from other galaxies. So now we're in this earth vibration, but we bring these things down, and it can't be clean here on this earth. And so you're stuck with the migraines. So it's a big business. Do you know how much is it? $8.5 billion business, just migraines. So the way to trump that, instead of having to pay for it, you just clean with it. Yeah.
I always knew I was from another planet.
sorry?
I always knew I was from another planet.
Well, too bad for us. Really, I mean, if you come in and you're not working on that, it's not. For example, that's what causes Alzheimer's. Coming in with this space stuff, it causes super viruses that the Earth cannot consume, cannot. So the way to do it is take your fern out and allow the divinity to consume it. Huh? Anybody else? Yes. You know, it's only about cleaning, so I'm just telling you that. Yeah. Once you go out of this room, if you're not cleaning, as my friend Joe has said, you're going to be stuck. And I'm only here to say, hello, you have a choice. You can unstuck yourself. Yes?
At what point, when you were talking about the child, the mother, and the child, and you said that the child can start cleaning automatically for you, right?
Yeah.
At what point do you know that the child is automatically doing
you guys
it?
Are going into this. When do you know that you won't know it? Mm-hmm. What do you want to know? Why can't you just clean and just let it clean?
When you said that you can only do it like 15 million times and you get tired?
Yeah. But the child can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So when do you know the child's doing it?
I'm saying if you're asking questions, the child will come, they're not clean. You guys, that means when a problem comes up, let's ask questions. So you're teaching it how not to be 100% responsible.
Right.
Yeah. So the question is, when something comes up, you should get to it. And you say to the child, I have a question, but I know it's data. I love it to death. I love you, and then you lead it back to pure state, and the child will go, oh, God.
Thank you.
Migraines, or that would be all pain, all disease, all of that is all.
I love you. I take the burden off. While you're talking, you can do that for yourself. But again, the child in you is going, no, wait a minute, my mother's asking another question. Is that how we solve the problem? The child goes, I don't feel myself falling in love with my mother. So the way to trump any problem is to say to God, I'm sorry. Basically, zap it. Yeah. But it won't do it because you're so used to asking questions, the child gets stuck. When a problem comes up, we ask questions. As opposed to when a problem comes up, we get to the cleaning.
Well, yeah, I was
Yeah.
trying to say that, we instead of labeling it as the migraine or the disease, we just, it's just all the same, and we just all clear it.
Yeah, it's only about cleaning. So the divinity is saying, when I was doing the cleaning 2 months in advance, I heard that these are some of the things that are going to come up in this class. One of the things that are going to come up is the thing that has to do with neurological problems. It's going to be huge. So, okay, I'm watching it. Didn't ask the divinity how to deal with it. I'm just cleaning. I'll give you an example of. One day, a woman called, and I was doing my cleaning as she was talking, and I was doing my cleaning. She said, "This woman has misnamed God." So the problem was she was calling from Seattle. I was listening, and the story is she took her daughter to a very famous university in Southern California. And the diagnosis was manic depression. So the mother's calling me now. I'm just the second bad. They talk to the time, and they spend $20,000, and then come and talk to me. You know? And so as I was cleaning, I heard divinity say to me that they gave the daughter a wrong name. I said, okay, I'm just cleaning now. I'm not asking how come, why. So I'm just keep cleaning. And then he said, well, ask the mother where did this child's name come from? So I said, because I was told, where did the child's name come from? 15-year-old girl, manic depressive. So the mother stopped. It was a kind of a long pause. And the story is that this girl is the first granddaughter of 2 grandmothers. And both grandmothers wanted this granddaughter named after them. Now the mother stuck. I'm like, uh-oh. So what do you think the mother did? And get a little bit of that one, a little bit of that one, and stuck it together. Well, split. So now this kid is stuck with a name that doesn't belong to it. And so she suffered when she was 2 or 3 months. The mother could see the eyes blinking, just kind of jerking around. And then so I'm cleaning, not trying to figure out anything, just keep cleaning, like Joe Batali saying, just keep cleaning. So I'm keep cleaning. And then I heard the minute says, I have a name for her. And I went, oh, okay. And I'm cleaning and watching it and watching it. But I didn't hear to give the mother the name. It's an intrusion. So I'm keep cleaning, and the mother never asked me for the name. So I never gave it to her. It's an intrusion to do something without giving permission. So here's the, so what was the girl's name? The divinity had given her name, and here's the name divinity gave. But I let it go. Mother didn't ask me, and the name was Maluhia. Ramsey, what is Maluhia? What is the translation for Maluhia, Ramsey? What is the translation for Maluhia?
It is actually very spiritual.
Yeah, what is it though? So these people will hear it.
It's very religious and very, very sacred.
Yeah.
It's much more deeper than Allah, in fact.
Now here's divinity who created this baby to give to the mother so that the mother could undo a lot of stuff. But the mother got caught up with the grandparents. So now, instead of getting a name, which if the child has received that name is a cleaning process for that child. So every time the mother would say, or if she had that name, Maluhia, she called it Maluhia, the cleaning would go. The divinity will only give names to people as a cleaning process. Yeah. So if you have a wrong name, too bad. Really? Too bad. Our psychiatric hospitals are filled with people with wrong names. So, as my friend Ramsey is pointing out, names are sacred. You give a person a wrong name, and if you're the person giving that person the wrong name, it's going to come back and slam you. So, I used to give names to companies, but it got so overwhelming, so many requests. Because you can't just give a name without really cleaning up your act. Because people are only asking because you get a chance to clean. But here, this name, so this baby was stuck, this little girl. So the idea is if you're 100% responsible, all this thing will undo and the answers will come. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes. We should give you a surcharge. Yeah.
I read a story that someone told about your daughter and her being healed. Would you repeat that story?
I think you can read it in the book. I think you could. It's there. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Can we give you a mic?
He's 7 now.
Yep.
He was less than 2.
Yep.
And he was really mad at me. And he said, why did you name me Andrew? He started speaking at 11 months. And he has since asked me that at various times. He stops me and says, why? That's not my name. And I've tried to explain to him that I didn't.
You can't explain. It's garbage. Explanation. garbage. That is to clean.
So what
But if
is his name?
Hello. If you clean, he will be fine. Because what will happen is you're willing to clean, Divinity will reconfigure his name, and he will stay with the quote the physical name, but he will have an experience of who he really is. If you're willing to clean and not try to figure it out, you'll be fine, and he will too.
So is there a name that resonates
Hello,
through you?
Did you hear what I said? I said
I think I
just
need to
do
hear it
your
again.
cleaning. And
Just do my
and
cleaning.
the Divinity will reconfigure his name, put a different, as they say in Los Angeles, a different vibration on it. You'll be fine.
And so he'll let me know.
No,
possibly.
He won't let you know. He'll be very quiet.
Oh, okay. I need to hear that
Isn't
again.
what you want? You want peace. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Because we're hoping the rest of them did their cleaning, because there are a few people in this room maybe have problems with the wrong name. Yeah.
Okay. I'm cleaning right now.
Yes.
I just want to say a beautiful experience that I had is that I named my son a name that was very clear, that was just really was a good name for him. But in the section of the city that he grew up in, that name was a little too new agey for him, so I named him Deva, which is a nature spirit. So he changed his name legally to David, and now at 28 years old, he loves Deva, and everyone calls him Deva. And I just knew all along, it's fine. Whatever he wants to do with it is fine. And it's amazing how things come back around, and I came back around. So.
You mentioned that Ho'oponopono comes from another galaxy.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little
No.
more? No?
Just-
Okay.
It's like you came from a certain part of the world, and that's the way it is. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes. And then this is one last question that I would like to go and summarize, so you're clear, you're 100% responsible, and we won't be fussing around.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me if I offend anyone. And I'm not confused, but what I do want to know is, I grew up not believing that God loved me. So my question is, does divinity have a message for me?
There are two great messages. Love God, love your neighbor as yourself. That's it. There's nothing else. And the only way you're going to love God is you got to let go. To be at zero is to be in love with God and yourself and your neighbor. Yeah. There's nothing fancy about it. I wish I could give you more, make it more fancy so we can charge you more. Yeah. Yeah. That's all. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. But you can only do it at zero. Yeah. Sorry.